Welcome back to another episode of the Slay Your Day podcast. I'm your host, Sandi Glandt, and today we are diving into 8 mistakes you're making when planning your day. Now, you guys hear me talk all the time about time management and productivity, and there's certain things that we're all doing that are actually taking away from the productivity that we're building every single day. So today's topic, I'm going to dive into when you're planning your day, how to be mindful of some of these potential mistakes that you could be making that could lead to inefficiency or reduced productivity. So we're going to dive in. I know you're going to love this episode, and make sure to share with someone else, maybe another working mom friend, maybe just another mama that could use this information that's really going to help to boost her productivity, because even one or two small tweaks in the day here or there are going to make a massive difference. So let's dive into the 8 common mistakes people make when it comes to planning their day. Okay, tip number 1. Okay, I don't know if you guys can guess what tip number 1 is, but this is going to be a relief to many of you, because number 1 is overloading the schedule. So what does that mean? Putting way more on the schedule than you know that you can actually accomplish. I am all for having big goals, massive goals, but when you overload the schedule, you're actually being less productive. So trying to cram too many things in and also not being able to prioritize those tasks is really, really important. So when you overload that schedule, that's gonna put you in a position where you don't know what is being prioritized, where you think everything's important, everything is essential. So be realistic about what you can accomplish in the time that you have. I know for me that I work from about 10 a.m. to 2 or 3 p.m. every single day. And if I'm trying to accomplish more than that time that I have, or something that's going to take 8 hours, I'm being unrealistic about the time that I have. So number 1, overloading your schedule. Let's step out of that and let's step into really being conscious and aware of what those needle moving tasks are that you want to accomplish every single day. And I'll give you a little bonus. So if you haven't already downloaded this, if you head over to sandraglandt.com/big money, I have an entire training on a big money moves training about what exactly are your needle moving activities every single day. Because look, not every day is the same, and there's certain things that are going to get us far greater results than just little things that we feel like we have to do but aren't actually adding up in the long run. So if you head over to sandraglandt.com/big money, you can grab that download, that Big Money Moves download, totally free, and just start focusing on what those are today. Because if you don't know what those big money moving activities are, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to overload the schedule, and then you're going to feel like nothing's being accomplished. So I really want you to focus on narrowing in on those needle moving activities, putting less on the schedule, but getting more done, because you're getting the right things done and putting the right amount of time and attention on those needle moving activities. Okay, number 2, the second mistake that you're making when it comes to planning your day is ignoring breaks and downtime. So what I love to work with is anywhere from 60 to 90 minute increments of really focused time and attention on a task. So every 60 to 90 minutes, getting up, moving, go for a walk. I love to do like a quick 5-minute stretch break in between certain activities, or making content, or working with clients, just because it gets me out of that thing that I'm doing, right? If you sit down and you work for 2, 4, 6, 8 hours at a time, your body needs that movement. Your body needs to break up the tasks. So regular breaks are essential for recharging your mind, giving yourself that break, and also maintaining your focus. You're gonna find that you have way more focus when you give yourself those breaks than if you just try and power straight through. So give yourself that time to just unplug, even if it's for just a quick 5 minutes, and you're gonna see that you actually are gonna have more productivity and you're gonna be more focused than if you were to just keep going. Tip number 3 that I wanna give you, or I should say mistake number 3 you are making when planning your day, is not setting specific goals. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, but vague or just ambiguous goals can make it so much more challenging for you. Because if you're trying to plan and effectively plan, and you just have these crazy wild goals that you are not specific about, it's going to cost you so much more time and energy than if you got really specific about what you were looking to achieve. An exercise that I love to do is look at the big picture. So let's go really macro for a moment. Look at the macro goal and then break it down into specific tasks that you can outline for yourself. Now, when you do this, this goes back to the second tip that I was sharing with you about the breaks. You can sit and stay focused for, let's say, 60 minutes or 90 minutes and accomplish that one thing and then move on to the next, versus setting these crazy, big goals that aren't specific and you're just all over the place. So be clear about what you want to achieve, be clear about what the goals are, get specific. And if you've ever heard of SMART goals, so it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So you want to make sure they have those 5 markers where you can say, okay, I'm going to be specific about this. I'm going to give it a measurement. I'm going to make it achievable. I'm going to make it relevant, and I'm going to give it a timestamp. So that's going to help to really get specific on the goals that you're working towards, versus just pulling goals out of anywhere because you want to do these really amazing goals and then not having the markers to have your SMART goals in alignment. So number 3, you're not getting specific. You're not setting specific goals. So now what I want you to do is get really specific about what you're planning and what it looks like. Number 4. So the 4th mistake that you are making when it comes to planning your day is underestimating the time that the task takes. So you're underestimating the task durations. Now, how many times have you gotten into something, whether it's talking to a client or planning out, a webinar, taking a phone call, doing emails, and you're like, oh, it's only going to take me, 20 minutes, but it takes you an hour. Or it's the reverse and you think, it's going to take you an hour, but it only takes you 20 minutes. And now there's no plan of action on what you're going to do next or where you're going to show up. So I want you to be really, really, again, specific about where that time is going, because what this will help you do is figure out how long the tasks will take you. So number 1, you create this beautiful domino effect of all the activities that you need to do, everything that you need to get done in a day. But also, when you do this time audit, like that's one of my number 1 tips that I like to recommend to my clients. If you haven't ever done one, or if you haven't done one in a really long time, maybe more than 6 months, I would say, go back and do a time audit and look at every single task that you're doing in a day and how much time is it taking you. Because again, if we think that showing up on emails or taking a phone call or working with clients or whatever the tasks are, the repetitive tasks that you're doing in your business are, if you don't know how much time that's taking you, you are wasting so much time, so much precious time. Time is money. And that's time you could be spending in another activity in your business, time with your family, time for yourself. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I hear from clients, well, I wish I just had 1 more hour in the day, or I wish I had time to go get my hair done or my nails done or do something for myself, right? It's because you're underestimating your task durations. You're underestimating the time that it takes to do something. Or maybe you're overestimating. Maybe you think something takes way longer, much longer than it actually takes. So the time that you're allocating is not proper timing. So I want you to think about, and again, do the audit if you haven't done this yet, or if you haven't done it in a while, because it's going to open your eyes and you're going to see how much valuable time you're wasting or how much valuable time you actually have to work with. Look at that, do your time audit, and get really, really clear on where the tasks and times are going. Number 5, but before I get into number 5, I would love for you to share this episode if you are loving this content, if you're resonating with this content, to please share with 3 friends. It could be 3 friends, 3 colleagues, other moms in your community that would benefit from hearing these tips, because we are in this together. I can't even begin to tell you how impactful and empowering this is to be able for you to not only get this information, but to share with someone else. And that is part of my mission. I want women to see the work that's being done here, to see that no matter what it is that you're doing, if there's someone else doing it, we can go and achieve that too. Whether it's a podcast, writing a book, showing up in motherhood, being a great wife or partner, like any of these titles that we wear, it's so important to know that we're not alone. So I would love for you to share this. Sharing is caring. Share with 3 other women that you know would resonate not only with the content, but also will take this and implement this, because that's what is going to create a massive shift and a massive change for good. So I would love, again, for you to just share this with 3 friends, 3 colleagues, 3 mom bosses who could really use and resonate with this content. And also, if you are listening or you're watching this on YouTube right now, screenshot this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3 winners a week and send you out a copy of my book. You're going to get some swag, some really awesome merch for sharing. So sharing is caring, and you're going to get rewarded for it. So I would love for you to just screenshot this, tag me in this, tag a couple friends who could really use and will benefit from getting this content, and you will be rewarded. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay, let's dive into number 5. The 5th mistake that you're making when it comes to planning your day is neglecting to prioritize tasks. And we talked about this a little bit in tip number 1, but it's crucial to identify and to prioritize the most important tasks. And I'm saying this slow because a lot of times we think everything's important. We give the same amount of weight to money moving tasks that we do to just tasks that we do because we know they just need to get done. So I really want you to look at, as you go through that audit, I want you to look at what are those tasks that you're doing that you need to prioritize, and start looking and making note of what they are. Because the more that you put time and attention on them, the more your thought process and your thinking and your actions will show up in those areas. So don't fall into the trap of just tackling those low key priorities and those tasks. But I really want you to focus on what are the high priority tasks that you need to be focusing on. So list them out, do your audit, and realize that not everything is a high priority task. And there's also a difference between high priority needle movers and also urgency. Like you need to get something done because it's got to be done tomorrow, or you've got to get something done because it's important and your team needs it from you, or it's a needle moving task. They are not created equal. So like something because it's urgent probably means you put it off to the last minute and you didn't get it done, versus something actually being a needle moving activity. So identify what they are and stop neglecting prioritizing those high important needle moving tasks. Okay, number 6, we are flying right through these. I hope you are loving all of these tips so far. My goal is to be coming in here, giving you this knowledge, this information, and just getting out and allowing you to apply it, because knowledge and being able to take this information, it's not just about listening to it, it's about applying it. So that's why I say to you, come in here, get the information, share this with other people, because when we teach it, we're actually relearning it ourselves. So number 7, and I have fallen victim to this one quite a few times. I've had to learn how to ebb and flow with this next one. So number 7, mistake number 7 that you're making when planning your day is lack of flexibility. I can say that I am someone who has been working on this, and because of my perfectionism, or because I'm so streamlined and strategized and I have all the systems, there are times, and a lot of my clients will ask me, what happens when things don't go the way that I plan them to go? And my response is, usually they don't go the way we think that they're gonna go. So having a lack of flexibility works against us. So what we need to do is focus on being more fluid versus rigid, and know that when you're so rigid, there's gonna be more problems. There's gonna be, unexpected events or emergencies that happen, like school is coming up, the new school year is coming up, and we can plan to have all the supplies and all the things, but like at the last minute, the dog's gotta go to the vet, or one of the other kids gets sick, or you have to travel. Like, life happens. And this is the purpose of Slay Your Day. This is the purpose of my book, of my coaching, of all my programs, is that life is just not gonna go as perfectly planned as we envision it to go. And that's the point. It's having the flexibility within the systems. It's having the flexibility within the routines to know that it's okay to leave the room for margin. It's okay to leave the room for contingencies or last minute changes. So I encourage you to allow that, allow the flexibility and the flow and the fluidity to come into your life, because when things are so regimented and so scheduled, we can miss opportunities. We can feel so married to that exact flow or system or routine that we can miss out on other opportunities. So as much as I love a system and a routine and a schedule, there still has to be some flexibility in there. And the reason why this is such a big mistake in planning your day is because most people think, well, I'm going to write out my schedule, or I'm going to plan my schedule out from the moment I wake up to the moment that I go to bed. But guess what? There's probably going to be hiccups or changes or detours or things you got to move around within that schedule. So as long as you know what you're prioritizing, what the needle movers are, all of these other things that we're talking about, that's going to be how you continue to move your business forward. That's going to be how you allow yourself to show up as the mom, as the wife, as the business owner in your community. Because it's not about everything being so perfectly scheduled and organized. It's about focusing on the needle moving activities that get you to the goal that you want to get to in the shortest amount of time. So my hope for you is that what you can do is put that flexibility, build that flexibility into the schedule within the systems that you're creating. And finally, number 8. So mistake number 8 that you're making when it comes to planning your day. And like I said, I'm so excited that we're going through these. I'm going to give you guys number 8, and then we'll just do a quick little recap of all of these, because these are all so important, and one of them will change your life, but when you can implement multiple, if not all of them, you are going to see your success skyrocket. You're going to see your productivity, your time management skyrocket, and also your happiness. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing something that doesn't fulfill you and fuel you and bring you happiness, you guys, then why are we doing it? We need to make sure that it's bringing us all the things that we want, right? The business, the relationships, the schedules, the time, the flexibility, all of these things, the freedom. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's like, if you can create all of these things on your own terms, this is what I want to give to you. This is why I'm giving you these tips, because this is what I implement into my life that allows me to have the flexibility, the freedom, the schedule, the time to not just be wife, to not just be mom, to not just be career woman, to not just be showing up in my community, but also to do all the other things that my heart desires. And I truly believe that whatever is on your heart, whatever is pulling you to go try or to go start or to venture into, it's there for a reason. And when you implement these tools and strategies and techniques, that just opens up your world to so much more possibility. So that's why I'm so passionate about this. And that's why these tools and the tips and the hacks, all of these things are going to help you reach your goals, no matter what they are, to help you tap into your full potential. Okay, number 8. Final mistake number 8 that you're making when it comes to planning your day is, drumroll, multitasking. I know that you've probably heard before, multitasking will save you time, or you can do more with it, but you guys, let's get real. Multitasking is only going to cost you more time and money and effort and energy. So anything that you're doing that takes up multiple effort or multiple space or multiple energy is going to tremendously hurt you in the long run. It's going to reduce your focus. It's going to cause poor performance. Like, there are no studies that say that multitasking is to our benefit. So when you're doing multitasking, like you're trying to send out an email and, manage the kids in the playroom, or take the phone call and send out an email, like something will go wrong. Something is not going to be up to par or where it should be. So focus on what is right in front of you. Focus on one task at a time to maintain the efficiency and the quality of who you are, of what you represent. Now, what I will say as a little side note is that there are ways to do smart multitasking, and there's only a few options that fall into this category. A few of those things are, let's say you're in the car driving. You're driving your kids to school, you're driving to work. And in the car, you're listening to a podcast or an audiobook. That is okay, because you can do both things at once. You're doing the laundry, also maybe listening to a book or a podcast. You are doing the dishes, same thing, right? But it's like the tasks that you need to be fully present for, fully in focus for, and need to have the performance there for, you have to make sure that you are just eliminating the distractions and are able to focus fully on the task at hand. So please, if nothing else, get rid of the distractions, because just eliminating the multitasking will help to take care of some of these other mistakes that you're making, or you could potentially be making and having right now. So get rid of the multitasking, and I promise you it's going to help you to just be more clear, more focused, and it's actually going to boost your productivity. So I'm going to recap these. I'm so grateful that you're here. I would love for you to follow me at Sandi Glandt on all the platforms. You're going to find this on YouTube, on Stitcher, on iTunes. This is on a podcast, so you can listen to this in audio. This is on YouTube, so you can watch it on video. Share with a friend. Again, sharing is caring. There are so many amazing mamas out there that are working, that are showing up for their families, their businesses, their kids, their communities, their husbands, that deserve to hear these tips and tricks and be able to implement them, because it can feel lonely. It can feel like you're alone in whichever one of these spaces, as a mom, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. I mean, any of these spaces can feel very lonely if you are not hearing from someone who is either in a similar position or who has found kind of like the hacks and the tips to help navigate these times. So please share this if you're resonating with this content, if you're loving this content. I would love for you to share this with at least one other friend that you know would also love this content. And please tag me as well so I can repost and share. We are in this together. So I'm just going to recap one more time. So these are 8 mistakes you are making when planning your day. Number 1, overloading the schedule. Number 2, ignoring breaks and downtime. Number 3, not setting specific goals. Number 4, underestimating task durations. Number 5, neglecting to prioritize tasks. Number 6, not considering energy levels and your circadian rhythms. Actually, that's a bonus that I wanted to throw in there as well, because the energy levels that we have, oh my gosh, you guys, I've been doing so much research on, especially women and our bodies and just how we show up at the different times of the month for ourselves. I'm going to do a whole nother episode on that, because I truly believe that has such, as all the research that I've done, that has such an impact on how we show up and how we feel and our energy levels. So number 6 was actually not considering our energy levels and circadian rhythms. Although we all have the same 24 hours in the day, we can plan our most productive times based on our cycles. And I'm going to actually bring on a guest speaker to be talking about this, because it's crazy to think about how we as women have certain peaks or ebbs and flows in our own cycles and months that can really contribute or take away from how we show up. So that was number 6. I had to sprinkle that in there also. Number 7 was lack of flexibility. And number 8 was multitasking. So I hope that you can take one of these, 2 of these, all of these, and implement them into your daily life. And I promise you, you will not only plan your day better, but you will start to see a skyrocket in your productivity, your time management, and just in your life overall. So I hope that you take these tips and go out and slay your day.